Why is GTA San Andreas one of the most loved GTA games of all time? What made it so successful? What are the criticisms that it faced, and is it still playable today? This is the series where I review games that are new, old, and coming up, so make sure you drop a follow and comment if you think I got it right or I have missed anything. The story. GTA San Andreas is an open world game that was released in 2004. It is the 7th instalment of the GTA series and one of the most popular games in the franchise. The game's history is set in the fictional state of San Andreas, which is based in California and Nevada in the United States. The game's story follows the character Carl Johnson, or CJ, as he returns home to Los Santos after spending 5 years in Liberty City. The story is about CJ's struggle to regain control of the home, family, gang, and various obstacles that he faces along the way. The game's story is divided into 2 main parts. In the first part, CJ focuses on rebuilding his gang and reclaiming the home. In the second part, CJ becomes involved in government conspiracy involving a group called The Truth. The Truth believes that the government is using a drug called crack to control the population, and they want to expose the conspiracy. CJ helps The Truth with their plan, but things generally, quite quickly, spiral out of control. Throughout the game, CJ faces various obstacles, including corrupt cops, rival gang members, and dangerous drug dealers. He uses his skills as a street fighter and intelligence to outwit his enemies and accomplish his goals. The game's story is filmed with twists and turns, and the player must make choices that will determine the outcome of the game. What made GTA San Andreas so successful? One of the primary reasons for the success was its massive open world. The game's world was larger than any of its predecessors, with a staggering amount of detail and interactivity. Players could explore the state of San Andreas. It featured a diverse range of environments, including cities, suburbs, countryside, and desert. The world was also filled with a variety of activities to do, including side missions, hidden secrets, and mini-games. The sheer scope of the game's world was enough to keep players engaged for countless hours. This open-ended nature gave players the freedom to explore and interact with the world in their own way. Another reason San Andreas' success was its compelling storyline. The game's protagonist, Carl, or CJ, as previously discussed, was a well-developed character and a great, rich backstory and compelling arc. The story was complex and nuanced, and it tackled serious issues such as race, class, and poverty in a way that was much thought-provoking and entertaining. The game's innovative gameplay mechanics were also a major factor of its success. It introduced several new features to the series, including RPG-style character development, customizable vehicles and weapons, the ability to swim and fly, and the game was also expanded to the series of the trademark sandbox gameplay, allowing players to engage in a variety of criminal activities such as drug trafficking, gang warfare, and heists. The game's mechanics were deep and complex, but there was an intuitive way, so it was quite easy to learn. So it's really making it accessible for both hardcore gamers and casual players. Finally, the game's cultural impact cannot be overstated. San Andreas was not only a critical and commercial success, but it also had a significant impact on popular culture. Its soundtrack, which featured a mix of classic hip-hop and contemporary tracks, became a cultural touchstone to help and popularise the genre. The game's themes and aesthetics also influenced a generation of filmmakers, musicians and artists, and its legacy can still be felt today in the countless open-world games that have followed in its footsteps. What challenges did it face? So, San Andreas was praised for its open-world gameplay, immersive storyline, and extensive variety of activities. However, the game was also criticised for a number of reasons. You can't talk about San Andreas without not talking about hot coffee. In the game, players could visit a virtual worker and a mini-game would commence. The game was also contained a hot coffee mod, which allowed players to access additional explicit content. This caused a significant uproar from parents and politicians, which called for the game's removal from store shelves. In 2005, the ESRB, which establishes content ratings for games sold in North America, changed the rating from a mature to an adults only, making San Andreas the only mass-released AO console game in the United States. Rockstar announced it would cease production of the version of the game that included the controversial content. It gave directors the option of applying the adult-only model and the sticker to copies of the games, or returning them so we had replaced versions with or without the hot coffee content. Many retailers pulled the game off their shelves in compliance with the store regulations that kept them from selling the rated games. Later that year in 2005, Rockstar North released an official cold coffee patch for the PC version, and pre-release San Andreas with the hot coffee scenes removed, so allowing the game's earlier rating to be reinstated. So PlayStation 2 and Xbox versions had all been released with hot coffee, those scenes were removed, just leaved in the Greatest Hits Edition, the Platinum Edition and the GTA Trilogy Pack. The remakes. In 2021, Rockstar released the much anticipated The Trilogy Definitive Edition. This included updated versions of 3 classic games, GTA 3, Vice City and San Andreas. However, the release was met with widespread criticism from players and reviews. After playing the remake of San Andreas, however nostalgic it may have seemed, I walked away very disappointed. The initial hype surrounding the games was incredible, but they did not live up to expectation. I feel that analysing the remake may well need its own episode due to the number of things that went wrong with it. If it's something you'd like to see, please make sure you put it in the comments. But what were the problems it faced? The game was plagued with bugs, glitches and crashes, particularly on the PC version. These technical issues range from minor graphical glitches to game-breaking bugs that made the game unplayable for most players. The updated graphics were nowhere near as impressive as what players had hoped for and just did not live justice to the original games. Players noticed certain features and content from the original games were missing, such as songs, missions, characters, and some players also complained that the gameplay mechanics such as driving and shooting felt much less smooth and intuitive than the original games. This leads me to the final point. Is San Andreas still playable today? The simple answer to that question is yes. After playing both, I would personally rather play the original. For me, the remakes were done poorly, and not only were they way too expensive, they had severe technical issues, lackluster improvements to the graphics, and gameplay takes away the nostalgic feeling. If the remake included whole-scale graphic upgrades with similar mechanics in GTA 4, we'd be talking a different story. However, for me, I would much rather play the original. My final thoughts on GTA. San Andreas was the game changer. From its compelling story, incredible character arc, nostalgic and iconic soundtrack to brilliant controversy, still to this day, I'd recommend playing San Andreas. CJ is likely the most loved character throughout all of the series. Still, from playing it, you can see why. From me, the only letdown to this game is the remake. The remaster, in my opinion, was done poorly, which in turn could have turned off new potential players to playing the game. Quite simply, download the original, immerse yourself back to 2004, and enjoy the next 40 hours of the story. Finally, thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and make sure you drop a like and comment anything you think I have missed, and have a great day.